And one important thing, when you go up, don't heat yourself externally. Let your body reheat itself, because when you go up, the fat burning will continue. Hey guys! Swedish Iceman here to freeze with you! I'm in Cambodia, at the river, and today I'm gonna talk about Wim Hof Method and weight loss. So I didn't want to make a video about this before because I didn't really understand the biology of it, but now I feel more confident to talk about it because I've been reading a little bit more about Wim's experience, and I've also been reading a lot about Ray Krooney's. He's a scientist who's been on TED-Med, and he also published some papers like the winter metabolic hypothesis, and he talks about how you can increase your fat loss with thermogenesis. So right now here, this is a stream, and the water is about 25 degrees, and my core temperature is 37 to 38 around, depends what I do and during the day, and that means that heat is going from my body to the water, because heat energy is always conducted from the warm source to the cold source. So, and heat is energy, so I'm losing energy while being in the water. And there also, like, when I go into the water now, there is a mild cold stress affecting me, and that causes a mild peripheral vasoconstriction, and that is basically when some arteries and arterioles are contracting to reduce the heat loss from my skin. So they restrict the blood flow and concentrate it to the core, and it also increases the oxygen to the brain and the heart, which of course is a symptom of the restriction of the blood to your peripheral, like your arms, legs, fingers, toes, and especially skin, so from your shell. And like the good temperature for doing this, like long time, is around 20 to 24 degrees, 65 to 75 Fahrenheit degrees, because in that temperature you can remain quite long. I can sit there for like 1 hour, just meditate and like have a good time. You can go down to like 15, but if you go below 10, severe vasoconstriction will like occur in your body, and you will also have the shunt veins in your hands and in your feet will shunt away blood from your fingers, so it will just bypass the fingers. So like in the palm of your hand, it will rotate around, and that decreases the heat loss also. So if you go below 10, your heat loss will be smaller, like compared to how cold it is. So right now I'm losing more heat, like compared to how cold it is and how long I can stay in. So it's more efficient to stay at like 15 degrees or 20 to 24. 20 to 24 is the best. And that's also what I talk about when I talk about, you know, cooling down for performance gains. You know, there were a Stanford study where they cooled down an athlete between his sets when he was doing calisthenics, and they were heating, like if they went below 10 degrees, heating like cooling down his hands and fingers, they didn't see as much cooling of the core as if they went above. So if the water they cooled him with, like that a special machine, was below 10, the shunt vein contraction was, the shunt vein dilation was too severe, so the heat loss in the core wasn't as good. So knowing this biology of the human, you can enhance your weight loss. And in fact, this Ray Kroonys, he found out that running a marathon, like for average like 80 kilograms human, burns around 21 grams of fat. And doing this for the equivalent amount of time will burn more. So it's more efficient to do this for weight loss. And you should also be aware of, like, when like now I'm not shivering, so I'm not using glycogen. Now my body is using fat. If I start to shiver, that means my mitochondria in my muscles are creating ATP, which is energy for my muscles. So I'm burning more glycogen than I'm burning fat. Right now I'm not shivering, so my body is like my mitochondria is just producing waste heat. They are just burning lipids to produce heat, waste heat, to not make me too cold, because if I get too cold I can die, and like it can be really severe. So it's really easy. I mean, this is called mild stress, mild cold stress, and I do it, like, I do exercise a lot because I want to have athletic performance, because I like mountaineering and stuff. But exercise for weight loss isn't the only way, and there's coming a lot of science about this now, so it feels great, so I want to talk about it. I just want to talk about things that I know is somehow scientifically grounded, you know. I don't want to be a quack or something. Same with my diet and stuff. I just want to try to be, I don't want to fool you guys or something because I have some hidden agenda or something. I just want to show you guys what I do to be the most healthy and to get the best athletic performance. And I'm doing this now because I want to lose a little bit weight before I go to Nepal in August, because I'm gonna try to do some really fast solo ascents of not like really high mountains and not technical mountains, more like mountaineering mountains when I can walk or do scrambling. I haven't really, like, it's really hard to say how many calories you are burning of fat per time unit, because it depends on the heat you are losing, because now the water it's a stream here, so the heat conducting from my body is more, because if I would sit in a still lake, the water around my skin would you know, get closer and closer and closer to my shell temperature, and the conduction would be less. Like the higher the delta, like the change in temperature is, the more will be conducted from the warm side to the cold side. And a lot of this I've studied when I wasn't in university doing engineering. So it's pure mechanics, but in your body it's biology. But it works the same, you know, warm to cold. So it's really hard to say how much you are burning. It depends on the water, really, and it depends on the temperature of the water also. And I suggest being in water that is streaming and that is about 20 to 24 degrees, because that is what Ray Kroonys is recommending right now. He has like a calorie meter, and that he's measuring how much calories he's using, and from that you can see if you're burning glycogen, if you're burning lipids like fat in your adipose tissue, or if you're burning amino acids from your muscles or from your digestive tract. So, and he recommends 20-24 degrees, or like 65 to 75 Fahrenheit degrees. And I would like to talk more with Wim about this, because I know, like Ray has talked about it with Wim, and yeah, I would like to talk with him. Maybe next year I go to Poland and visit him. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. So now I'm gonna do some meditation and also do some free diving exercises like breathing and stuff. But I'm just gonna be here for a while. And one important thing, when you go up, don't heat yourself externally. Let your body reheat itself, because when you go up, the fat burning will continue. So don't stop your fat burning with going into a sauna, or just let your body reheat itself, because it will continue. And that's the same if you go to ice water. Like, you get cold and then you go up and you feel cold, but if you let your body to reheat itself, you will use a lot of fat. You'll also use glycogen, because maybe you will shiver. It depends on how good you are at using fat as waste heat and how much brown fat you have in your body. And studies have found out that generally obese people have less brown fat, they have more white fat. So skinny and athletic people have more brown fat, so that's a huge advantage for me, because I'm athlete, so I have more brown fat, and you get a little bit more brown fat when you are exposing yourself to cold. You don't get much. It's more that when you're exposed to yourself to cold, your metabolism goes up. I mean, there's been studies that did this. They have been, we have the Inuit. They have been comparing their metabolism with people living in Africa, where it's warm, and it's considerably lower in Africa because it's so hot there. So if you have a high metabolism, you're gonna have more heat in your body, and it's gonna be harder for you to cool yourself. But if you're Inuit living in cool environment, you want to have higher metabolism. You want to have more. You have higher adaptive thermogenesis than people living in warm climates. I'm not saying that it helps to be an Inuit, but it's just the science of the biology of the human, that if you expose yourself to cold, you will have a higher metabolism after, also because you need to reheat. So this was a pretty long video, and I hope it was informative for you guys. So as always, I love you, I love everything. Give something back, stay strong. And I also wanted to tell you that, Ray Cronies, he's a scientist, and he is a big promoter of a plant-based diet, like no meat and low fat. So that's really interesting, because I found out for myself that this is the best diet for my Wim Hof Method practice. And I will have a link down below to his website and to the TED talk he did. And stay strong, guys. Live life, smashing happiness.